Hello, everybody. It's me, TJ, with Dekeef here.
Hello.
Hello, Dekeef. Today we're going to be debating long age debate, ranked or no ranked.
You can make your opening argument.
Yeah.
Since you want to add ranked so
okay,
much.
Okay.
You can.
I don't understand Dekeef. I feel like ranked would add so much potential to the game. More players coming in, more reason, to prosper and upgrades, more things to progress in, more community, people getting better at the game instead of being absolutely ass. I don't understand anything that's bad about it.
Alright, well, so first of all, we have to look at what Shotgun Farmers is. And Shotgun Farmers is a casual pick up and play game where you quickly leave and join lobbies. Obviously, you play Shotgun Farmers, you play public games. You know that you quickly, people that you join and leave lobbies. So ranked is a very competitive aspect. I'm sure you can agree it's very competitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is completely different from what Shotgun Farmers is. At its core, which is a very casual, fun party pick up and play game. By adding such a competitive aspect where there's such a challenge and consequence of losing, then I feel like the game loses its sort of value. Where if you lose a match, it doesn't really matter, right? So you're just incentivized to play and have fun.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
ranked, obviously, it would just be completely different. You can't lose, or else you lose points or whatever. And I feel like that's just completely against what the game goes, for. It would be like a April Fool's, like a battle pass or a VR game. I feel like it's the same as one of those.
Absolutely not, Tiki. Absolutely. The thing is, you're not forced to be in it. I mean, you can make ranked an optional choice. You can just play ranked, or if you don't care about your ranked again, you can just play casual pubs. It's the fact that there is an option to do so, an option for competitive players as you and me to go out there and actually play competitively and to set up playing pubs and ultimately ruining other people's time, because half the time either Dunks or Birdie or even me or even you just shit on the entire lobby, and that leaves people to leave, and an unfun experience. If we just had a certain game mode, or of course ranked, that we could just go and play in, not only would people be more happier staying in, but the people who actually want to play competitively have a place to go, instead of finding some obscure Discord and waiting, I don't know, months for eternity to might not even happening. People ducking. Of course, I'm sure you know a lot about people ducking, Dekeef.
Yeah, because you duck me all the time.
That's not true, Dekeef. That's not. I've never ducked you once. In fact, you're the one.
All you do is duck. You're
okay.
Tjpumpkinking.
Okay, calm down now. And I feel like an implementation of ranked is almost necessary to the game. Not only for it to become a, as you said, a kind of a casual game, but also open the realm to more competitive people. Just bring more audiences.
2, 1.
Okay, so the competitive community of Shotgun Farmers exists. Obviously, I'm in it. And I wouldn't call it niche at all. It's actually a pretty big part of the game. And it's not a big part of the game, it's a big part of the community. If you're good at the game, you will find yourself being in the ranked community, because people will notice you in public lobbies. They'll invite you. I mean, that's how a couple people have been, brought into the community. But here's the problem, is that ranked is not as demanded from the general community as you think. Here's the problem. Everyone who plays competitively is good. Everyone in our community they're all the best players of the game. So if ranked was implemented, all of the people already in the competitive community would be at the top, and they would still have no competition, because all the public players that go into ranked would all be at the bottom, because they're still bad. Just because you play ranked doesn't change the fact that they're bad. So everyone who's asking for ranked just wants to be the best in the top of ranked because they're the only competitive players, while everyone else will not stand a chance against the 12 or so actually good players, and it would just be a worthless system because the top players would be stuck playing against each other of equal rank, while everyone else would just be significantly lower on the ranked leaderboards.
Yeah, but you also got to think about people. One, people don't have Discord, like Freedom. I'm sure you know who that is. Comes in.
Right, but I would say that Freedom is not good.
So maybe, well, you might have different opinions. I also think Freedom is okay. But maybe and of course he doesn't have Discord, but he's not open to the right community. And there's plenty of other people, Xbox and PlayStation, that are not on Discord, and maybe they're like, oh well, you know, we're advanced in the right community too. You know, if you keep having people playing in pubs, if they just keep playing pubs against bad people, which they're bad themselves, so if bad people play against bad people, no one's gonna get better there. The only reason why so few people are actually good at the game is because we progress off each other instead of, I don't know, a pub, like a one-time match with completely different people every single time. There's not really room to grow your ability to play the game. That's why you see so many people, especially with Xbox and PlayStation, and even some PC people are absolutely trash at the game. Unless with prior experience to a competitive field, they're not going to be so great. Now what I'm saying is, ranked should be implemented. It should, again, get some more people in. I don't understand why you wouldn't want that for the community, but it also brings in more people to the competitive aspect. They'll see it on there, maybe they want to play casual, right? Then they'll just stick with casual. Maybe that's separated. Maybe ranked doesn't have to be involved in casual, maybe they don't have to be intermixed, right? So, people who don't know about ranked, or don't know about the competitive community, or people who even want to dabble in it, but don't feel super confident about themselves, they can go play ranked. They can go play against these good players, right? And it lets them grow. Playing against people better than you, you can either learn from them or what have you, and make yourself better. Then meaning there will be more people who are better at SF. Increasing, of course, for us. That means not all pub lobbies are going to be absolutely bad. We have more people to play against instead of, like, again, what you said, the 12 people that actually play ranked and that are good or competitive.
Okay, so I just want to say that what you said is just completely wrong. Ranked doesn't make anyone better. A lot of ranked systems in other games have the players not wanting to play ranked at all because it'll touch their score. If a player goes up against another player and they lose, they don't get to play that other player because of the consequences of ranked SF. They'll just be moved down and played with worse players. What's great about the ranked community is you can just 1v1 with no consequences. If you lose, that's fine. And that's how I've gotten better, is by repeatedly playing against better players in public lobbies and, you know, ranked 1v1s. Or not ranked, just...
Well,
you know,
see, right there. Right there. You know?
What?
It's that the fact that you're playing against better players that made you better.
Okay, so, right, when you play against better players and you inevitably lose, you're not going to be able to play up against them anymore because you'll be moved down a rank. That's what's wrong about the ranked system.
No.
Yes, that's completely true.
No,
yes.
because what you
and
can
with
do...
the rank, your rank, in every other game, people are hard stuck certain ranks. They can't get better at the game. They're in a perpetual cycle of beating worse players and losing to better players.
Well, then that's, in that sense, if they can't get better, maybe that's just where they belong, I suppose. Not to sound rude or anything. And also the fact that maybe it doesn't have to work like that. Maybe it's because maybe they don't have to be stuck at like a certain place and they can't play against good players anymore.
Yep, so that,
maybe it's really open. Maybe it's
described the opposite of the ranked system. If you're trying to change it, then it isn't really ranked, is it?
No,
and also,
no. There's
people
still
are going to, because of there's so little competitive players, they're going to keep playing the same better players over and over again. So this is what's going to happen. They're going to quit ranked after losing inevitably over and over again. They'll see very little worth in it, and it'll be a useless addition. Or better players will come along because of ranked, and we'll get overly competitive, sweaty players.
And that's why they'll stay in the rank. They'll just stay in rank.
They're not going to, because if the game gets overly competitive, it's going to get a lot more popular and known for its competitive play. Like, you can play, you know, very casual parts of other games, Like CS:GO you can play casually, or Valorant you can play unranked, but everyone only knows Valorant for being like a really sweaty game with ranks and being hard stuck certain, like Rocket League. It's the same thing.
Oh,
People, it's completely, it's either completely useless or it'll kill the game and make it overly competitive, which once again just goes completely against what the game originally is. I just think it's a joke.
This is not true at all. Especially with certain games like Valorant and Rocket League that have that kind of rank system are known for some of the competitive community, especially with esports or what have you. But the games especially because I've played those games before, not all of it is necessarily competitive. I'm definitely not the best at Valorant. And I'm absolutely horrible at Rocket League, but I still have a blast. It's not always super sweaty or always super competitive. You play with an equal playing field in that sense. So you're not. So then again, going back to the whole rank system, maybe we keep that same rank system. In SF, you start at a certain rank. You keep playing these certain players. You play against people with equal skill as you. So then there's always back and forth, and it's an enjoyable time instead of getting one killed over and over and over again, and not having fun at all, or two, it being so easy that it's not even fun at that point. It's a nice even middle where you and the other player can both enjoy, and depending on who wins, maybe the person is better, maybe you can move on further, and then maybe you could stay the same and then keep working up to it. And as you said before, which I don't understand, is what you just said before, is that the competitive community is not small. It's, as you said, it's a very big population. So the fact is that you think there's like a couple or what have you, which there is only so many. This doesn't make any sense to me, because there is quite a few people that I know that would like to get competitive, but
Then they
they're just
should.
not. What's up?
Then they just should. Like that. This is the
Then
problem.
the ranked should be an opening. There should be a gateway, so for them to enter into the ranked or competitive community. Ranked should be something that encourages them to get better at the game and make them feel good about themselves. Like, oh, look at this, I won, or oh, I'm so good, or something like that. You know, people should feel accomplished in the game. Well, not that pubs doesn't fulfill that, but for more hard-drived, I don't know, sweats or what have you, people that want to excel in the game, there's a place for them. You know, like somewhat of a segregation, I suppose. There's more people with ranked who are really skillful, and there's more casual players, kind of like clip farming and the rest of SF, or the clans and the rest of SF. You know, you're not gonna find very, very casual players playing ranked or competitive SF. You're gonna find more hard-driven people that want to continue playing. Like Buckster, we found him recently. You would have never known. You would have never gotten into the competitive community if it wasn't for us finding him, or maybe he would have, right? But the fact is, we had to wait till he was Prestige 3, Prestige 4 now, where he could have had this open Prestige 2. Okay, okay, sorry. Prestige 2, right? But still, it takes a while to get Prestige 2, and he could have had, if let's say there was a rank, could have had access to this competitive community, and maybe he could have even been a better player than he is now. And I feel like that missed opportunity of not having ranked not only makes it so it's harder to improve as is, but if we just didn't have rank, then it would be harder to find regular competitive people, except for pure luck on whatever server you're on in a random game at a certain time, and possibly finding them, and if they even want to join rank. You know, and people who would want to join competitive, they would obviously join rank.
Okay, so your point that ranked, where people who might enjoy ranked will never find it if there isn't a ranked mode implemented. That's simply not true. If you're not open in the Shotgun Farmers community, if you're not in the Discord, if you're not chatting in the game chat a lot, if you aren't posting videos or making TikToks, then you're not going to be in the ranked community anyway. You're just not in the Shotgun Farmers community, period.
Well, how would you know that? Well, not necessarily the community,
okay, so this
but just
is
being
how
in
I
ranks
know.
to begin with.
Well, it would be a ranked community, would it not?
I suppose it'd be somewhat of a ranked quote-unquote community, but it's more of a... It's not necessarily a pub community, isn't it? Besides, of course, the main general
that's
Discord.
the whole game. Like,
But
everyone in the Discord is the pub community. We know specific players. Everyone in clip farming is different from normal players. We can make that distinction very easily. So this is the problem, is when you make ranked in SF, that makes Shotgun Farmers competitive. You're making the game competitive, and although obviously Shotgun Farmers is fun when it's competitive, I don't want the game to promote that. I want the community to promote it, because then you take away what's fun about playing Shotgun Farmers pubs. And I just find that if you're good enough and you're in the community, we're going to find you, because all we do is promote tournaments and promote our private servers where we play like Friday Farming. That gets you in the community. If you really want to if you want to play ranked in Shotgun Farmers, you will be able to find it without ruining the game or ruining what the game's about. You will 100% be able to find the competitive side if you're in the Shotgun Farmers community in general. And if you aren't, then that's not my problem, because then you wouldn't ever be able to be in the ranked community. If you're just randomly playing against the same 4 good players that you don't know, that doesn't make you part of the ranked community. And that brings me to my other point, is that players are not going to get better at all from playing the same 4 people. You know, this is what's going to happen.
That's simply just not true.
At the top ranks are going to be the current competitive community, which good players are really going to play against, because, you know, as soon as they lose, they'll just be knocked down a peg and they won't be able to get better. That's literally what ranked is. You're adding consequences to losing, which doesn't encourage you to play more and to get better at all. By having 0 stakes and just being in the community, you can grow way more organically. Like, I can say confidently 100%, if I had only played through a ranked game mode, I would not be as better at all than if I had, you know, did what I did and joined the competitive community, because there's certain stuff like tips and tricks and stuff and strategies that you get from the community that you're not going to be able to obtain just by 1v1ing someone online that you don't know. And yeah, so just playing ranked, you wouldn't be getting better. You would just be in a cycle of winning and losing, and it wouldn't. If you want to get better, you 100% have the tools and would be invited to, because of how small the community is. If you are active in the community and you express wanting to join the ranked community, you will 100% be able to do so. So that is not a problem, not being able to play competitively. That is just not a problem.
Well, my problem with what you said there is that you would say we would only be playing four people or something like that, right? But again, as I said, if there was ranked, there would be more open. Completely public. Everybody who had Shotgun Farmers would know there would be a competitive community. Now, you know this as well. There's been plenty of times where I don't know how to get into the public Discord VCs or what have you, but rarely anybody goes in there, and we've just been finding new people because of them joining the Discord. They had no idea about clip farm, or they didn't really have an idea about certain stuff like that. So for you to say that it's so open, it's so wild, well, we do promote our tournaments and we do promote our Discord. There's still plenty of people that, 1, don't even have Discord, or 2, just don't know. And I believe that if Quasi implemented this game, it'd be not one of people public. If people just didn't want rank, or they just didn't want to play it, then they could just move on to pubs. The people who have like some sort of interest, maybe played Apex or Val before, especially like what you said, or Rocket League or what have you, if they had that past experience and they liked what they saw there, they could also play Shotgun Farmers like that. Have a game that you like, have characteristics of other games you like. And then that would further on increase the amount of ranked players, making more than just 4 or 5 people than it really is currently right now, maybe even 10s or hundreds. No, it's a little bit of an overstatement because of course the community is only so big, but it get a lot bigger than it is now. And I feel like if we didn't implement it at some point, I feel like it'd be a big mistake. There's a really big potential there for more people to join the game, and for more people to possibly even enjoy it. And if they didn't enjoy it, great, and they can continue playing it, right? There's no harm into adding rank. If you don't like the aspect of rank, or if you're not enjoying your time on ranked, which I highly doubt a lot of people would not like it, then they can just continue playing more. There's no harm in it at all. But the people who are interested, they don't have Discord, or maybe they've not been introduced to our tournaments by some reason, right? They're like, oh, well, what's this rank? Check it out, start playing competitive for themselves, and they see if they like it. And if, again, the people who are shown our tournaments, maybe they're like, oh, well, I don't think I'm good enough to play it, or I don't think I'll stand a chance in playing, right? But if we had a rank, they can just press play and get into kind of like a tournament mode, right? And then they can improve upon themselves. And I feel like you're saying there would not be any improvement in any rank is absolutely ridiculous. There's been so many times I've 1v1 Chips, Birdie, what have you, even them teaching me stuff, or from this community, but just playing myself, understanding how the game mechanics work, and implementing that into the game in like a public, or not even a public match, but a 1v1 especially. And it's improved me so much, right? And if other people won't get better if they don't play against people that are better, or people of equal, because again, as you said, the game is not super competitive. It's mainly just a casual game, but maybe people want to get better. Maybe people want to get more wins than that, which who wouldn't, right? They can go into rank, maybe train a little bit, right? And get better, because the training ground we have is not the best. It's not really going to get you better. Maybe it's just a tiny bit with aim on Sunny's side, but besides that, not really. And instead of maybe losing to the competitive players all the time on pubs, which most of us roam because half the time the people aren't on, and that discourages the people from playing, and then leaving, the ranked has a community, or competitive has a community, go to ranked and just play there if they want to play competitive, right? If people that want to stay casual can play casual. Maybe they want to switch it up a little bit. If they want to get better at the game, then they can go to ranked. I just feel like it's an overall benefit, and there's not really any pure downside to it.
Alright, so I'm going to respond to you, and then I'm going to make a closing point. So, I think it's very obvious that Shotgun Farmers doesn't have a skill ceiling or a skill floor or whatever, but it does have a skill ledge. There is a barrier between public players and competitive players. I'm sure you were talking about like Teb or Flopster or whatever his name is. Those players aren't good. They're not competitive players. They're just regular public lobby people that we found and talked to. That doesn't make them competitive players. And that makes it, you know, we found these competitive people that wouldn't have found it before. Teb or Flopster, they were never unofficial. They were never talking. They were never in the community. And we just found them randomly once in a VC. But go back in their messages, they don't talk at all. That doesn't make them a part of the community. That doesn't make them a competitive player.
But it opens them to the community. You know, maybe they didn't like the community they were in. Maybe they just wanted to, maybe they didn't want to always play pubs all the time. And plenty of other players too. Maybe they want to experience some sort of competitive, but they don't know where to look. Or maybe they have found it, again, as what I said, with tournaments or what have you, but they feel like they're not good enough. And if they go to ranked, if we had it, you know, they would be able to be prosperous even, and get better on top of it. And again, as you said, Floppy, and I believe Tebs, aren't the best players. Right, and not any hate to them.
They're public players. And also,
yeah.
I just wanted to say, I said I was going to respond to you and then make my closing point. So this wouldn't be the part where you interrupt.
Oh, sorry.
Right, so like I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted.
Oh.
They're not good players, they're public players that we found in a random VC because they weren't part of the community. Queuing up and playing against random people will not make you better at all, because there's stuff that you just have to learn by talking to other players. Just because you put two people in a 1v1 does not mean that they're competitive, it doesn't mean that they're great at competitive shotgun farmers, and it doesn't mean they'll get better. If we add ranked, there's of course going to be people running around with their shotguns out, they're not going to know about wave dashing, they're not going to know about any strats, and they're never going to learn, nor is that going to make them closer to the competitive community. What you don't realize is that ranked is going to split the game in half, remove, you know, a lot of players from public lobbies, and split all the players in half until people, you know, inevitably trickle back into pubs when they realize that ranked isn't good for them because they don't know how to get better, they are not getting better, and they're hard stuck, you know, low or middle. And I don't think you quite grasp that playing the game in public lobbies with people, you know, I'm not going to say that this is what it is. It's people who are terrible, bought the game once on Xbox and then quit, public lobbies, and then competitive players. There's no more nuance than that at all. So if you're playing in pubs and you're not in the competitive community, you're constantly playing people of equal skill. And that is how you get better. And adding an artificial ranked mode where you'll only be playing against the best players that only want that mode so that they can get cool stuff and be at the top, that's not going to make you better. It's not going to put you in the community at all. Not at all. It's going to make you agitated at the game. It's not going to make you better. You said you learned stuff from Birdie and Chips. You would not learn stuff from Birdie or Chips from having a ranked mode. You would know that from playing with them casually competitively, where you can afford to lose, and you can afford. No, when you 1v1, what do you lose when you 1v1 someone and you lose a match? Nothing. You can just rematch them. You can talk to them. If you lose in a ranked game, you can't rematch them because you'll be moved down a rank. That's the whole problem.
You also gain a loss on the stats.
Yeah, congratulations. You got a free loss, and you didn't improve from it at all. This is how you get better. If you really care about getting better at shotgun farmers, you would be in the community. And you would see the, 20 times that Crafter promotes his Discord server, and us joining the public VCs. There's people who are unofficial right now that could join ranked if they wanted to, and they don't, which goes to show how many people don't want ranked and aren't competitive at all, and how many people actually want it, which are already in the community. So my closing statement is this: competitive players want it so that they can dominate leaderboards. There aren't any bad players who are like, ooh, I really want to get better, so can you please add a ranked game mode? Adding a ranked game mode will not get you better because you'll only be playing against players that are worse than you or way, way, way better than you. That playing ranked doesn't teach you game sense or any strategy. It doesn't improve your movement at all because you have no interaction there. Adding ranked in general would go against shotgun farmers 100%. And completely go against what the game is about, a quick, fun party game, pick up and play. And of course, I love competitive mode. It needs to be separated in order to keep a community and in order to keep something that kind of doesn't go well in the game. It's like, alright, instead of dumping your fries in ketchup, you have a side of ketchup. You know, it's like that. As to not destroy the fries completely, you have the side of ketchup, that's the competitive community, that you can dip your fries into if you want without completely ruining and submerging your fries in a bunch of ketchup that you don't want the fries to be. You know, maybe you don't want some fries to be submerged in ketchup. That's completely fine. I've been talking about this point for too long. Basically, ranked would only, destroy public rooms, cut the player base in half, boost ranked players, ego, basically, and it wouldn't improve anyone who isn't already in the community and doesn't care about being ranked in the competitive community.
Alright. I'm gonna make my closing statement then. I really disagree with everything you said. I'm not gonna hold you. I feel like ranked would introduce a new aspect to the game that I'm sure plenty of people would enjoy. People that aren't in the competitive community or have not found their way in the competitive community can kind of step their toe in, get introduced to it. And maybe they enjoy it, they can keep playing in it. If they don't, they can keep playing pubs. I feel like it would add more diversity to the game. I feel like there'd be a lot more enjoyment, especially with competitive community now, being able to have actual competition instead of destroying people on pubs. I feel like it would help pub people out even further, separating the really, really sweaty people from their public games that they're just going to dog on and it's not going to be super enjoyable for them. As you said, it's more of a casual game in pubs, so if we were able to move that competitive implement to a different section of the game, I feel like pub would be happy and the more competitive people would be happy. As to ego, sure, some people would be a lot happier with a ranked, but in my personal opinion, I feel like it's just an unnecessary statement from you. I feel like ranked would be a little bit more beneficial. It would add more progression to the game. You can progress or whatever, and it would get you better at the game. playing against people, learning maybe how they fight, or looking at what they do, implementing your own strategies, finding things out for yourself, what works for you, is definitely going to increase your game than just playing a lot of public lobbies and capture the pig, kin the crow, what have you. And yeah, I just think ranked should be implemented. I feel like it'd be good for all in all, and especially great for the competitive community.